Tesla has been one of the best performing stocks of 2020, and the forecast for electric vehicles is expected to blow up. But in this video, I'm going to show you why Tesla might not be the best investment for you in this space today. And I'm going to show you the backdoor way that we can get huge profits in this electric vehicle market. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mark Moss, and I believe the only real security we have in life is to take responsibility for ourselves, to learn to make money, grow our money, and protect our money. If you like those topics, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and the bell notification so you're notified every time I put new videos out. Now, today we are talking about Tesla. We're talking about Tesla being one of the fastest growing auto manufacturers, one of the best performing stocks of 2020. It's the world's most valuable automaker by market cap. And Tesla could be very well on its way to becoming the world's biggest automaker in a decade from now, at least according to its market cap. Now, Tesla is worth about over $400 billion, about $411 billion at the time of this recording. And this compares with a market cap of only $185 billion for Toyota, about $90 billion for Volkswagen, about $41 billion for Honda. So it's really big. It's a lot bigger than any of these other companies. But what most people don't get yet is that Tesla is on the way to becoming the world's #1 car maker by the number of annual vehicle sales. Now, last year, about 367,000 Teslas rolled off of the production lines, and a lot of analysts are reporting that by 2030, about 10 years from now, Tesla will have the capacity to make about 20 million cars per year. That's a massive increase. It's an over 5,000% jump in production from today's levels. Now, the driving force behind this growth looks like it's going to be driven by pushing the cost of the batteries down. Elon Musk announced at Tesla's recent battery day a bunch of changes coming into the batteries. He projects that the changes in the batteries will finally make owning an electric vehicle as cheap as owning a gas guzzler. Sounds pretty good, right? Now, as good as Tesla sounds, before you go and just buy Tesla stock right now to profit from this boom, there might be a much better way for us as investors to play this sector, and that's what we're going to talk about. Now, I know Tesla's stock has been crushing the market, right? I already said that. It's been one of the best performing stocks of 2020. We've seen Tesla's shares go up about 420% so far just this year, making it, like I said, one of the best stocks. Now, as good as it has, I think there's a much better way, a sort of, like I said, a backdoor way to play this electrical vehicle, the EV boom. Now, I do like buying individual stocks. I predict lots of individual stocks. I've given out individual stocks here. I think they're a great way to own great companies, to own them, to hold them. But what I really like doing is identifying trends. I like to identify the trends and find a broad way to play these trends. And that's exactly what I'm talking about today. So if we're going to take a look at the whole trend, obviously we have to look at Tesla. I mean, it's the electrical vehicle poster child. It's the stock market darling. But its price is so high that I believe it's completely divorced from the fundamentals of the company. Add to that the coming onslaught of competition from the rest of the auto industry, I think that Tesla might soon have its hands full dealing with the competition. Now, pretty much every auto manufacturer is now releasing their own EV vehicles. We have, sport cars like Porsche have recently released their own version of electric vehicles, and the Porsche beats Tesla across the board on performance specs. If you like luxury, well, we have luxury auto manufacturers like Audi, BMW, Mercedes. They've all released cars that I believe have a better fit, better finish, and better quality. Now, if you're a truck guy like I am, I drive a Ford truck. Well, Ford's scheduled to release its popular F-150 truck in a hybrid and a full EV truck as well. Now, with all these new entrants coming to the market, it's easy to see that Tesla's dominant market position is going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged in a really big way. From what I know, at least from Americans, drivers are pretty loyal to their cars. If you're a Ford guy like me, I like Ford trucks. If you love Mercedes, then you probably want to drive a Mercedes. You might want to stick with those brands, which is why betting on a single auto manufacturer like Tesla, especially one that's so overvalued in the market compared to other companies, especially other manufacturers that have been around for 100 years or longer, and they actually make pretty good cars. And they don't just make cars, they actually make profits. which is something that Tesla seems to have a tough time with, which is why I like to find a backdoor way to play the entire market. Because while Tesla might or might not become the biggest and the most valuable brand in the world, we do know for sure that EV vehicles, they're here to stay. And they're only going to continue to grow at a very, very rapid pace. As a matter of fact, reports show that by 2035, nearly half of all new vehicles sold will run on battery power, as you can see illustrated by the chart that's up on the screen. Now, in the US, the state of California is trying to lead the country and even the world into this EV future. Just last week, the California governor, Gavin Newsom, said that California will stop selling gas-powered passenger vehicles within 15 years. It's a pretty ambitious goal. By 2045, he's pledged to also end the sale of gas-powered heavy-duty trucks. Talking about big rigs, semis that move freight around. Now, that's a really big deal. If California were a country, it'd be the world's 10th largest car market. And the U.S., like I said, will probably be following suit of what California has been doing. As a matter of fact, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden, he said that if he's elected, if he wins the election, he'll work to add over 500,000 EV charging stations to America's highways if he wins. And that's a massive increase. Right now, there's about 68,000 EV charging stations. So from 68,000 to 500,000, that's a really big jump. And it's not just the US that's moving towards EV vehicles. Over in Europe, we've seen increases in government subsidies for EVs in the bloc's June stimulus package, and it led to a rush of EV sales. So far this year, nearly 1 in 5 new car registrations have been EVs. I mean, that's roughly double last year's figures. So I built it up. The market's big. It's only going to get bigger. Trying to choose the one winner is going to be difficult. So what is this backdoor way to play the EV boom? You might be asking, how do we play this EV boom without having to speculate on Tesla, without having to pick, like I said, any other specific auto manufacturer? Well, the answer lies in what's included in every single electric vehicle. The answer? It's the battery, of course, right? And even more specifically, what's inside the battery? Well, there's 2 things that I'm interested, all right? The first thing that I'm interested in inside the battery is lithium, which is something that you've, most likely heard of. It's used for lots of different things, ceramics, glass making, nuclear fusion. It's even used for treating mental illness. But the increased demand for EVs is supercharging the demand for this metal. Now, the World Bank projects demand for lithium is going to surge almost 1,000% by 2050, and this is going to be sparked by the EV megatrend that's growing, that's blowing up. Now, this surging demand will create a lithium deficit, meaning there's not enough lithium to go around. Now, there's been more lithium than we needed for the current uses, but with the world ramping up demand for electric vehicles, we're starting to see the demand is outpacing the supply, which of course is the most fundamental driver of price. Now, starting this year, we've seen the rising demand for EVs suck up nearly every single pound of lithium that we have on the planet. And experts are predicting that over the next few years, there won't be enough lithium to supply the EV industry, plus all the other businesses that depend on lithium already. So when you dig into the numbers, it's pretty scary just how short we might be. Last year, the world produced over 400,000 tons of lithium carbonate equivalent. That's LCE. Now, it's the lithium end product that goes into electric vehicle batteries at an average price of about $13,000 a ton as of last year in 2019. So this equals about $5.3 billion in sales. That's about 0.3 of the $2 trillion that we spent on oil last year. So, you're not going to have to refill the lithium in your car like you refill gas. But if the EVs make up half of all the car sales, that's about 58 million EVs on the road in 15 years. And each EV will need about 59 kilograms of the LCE. All right. Now, that works out to be about 3.4 million tons of LCE, which is 7 times more than the entire world produces today. Not just what we have, not just the extra, it's 7 times more than the world produces today. And like I said, when demand outpaces supply like that, you get a major price spike, right? Supply and demand. It's the main driver of price. Now, as I always like to talk about, always referencing the great Wayne Gretzky's quote about skating to where the puck will be, not where the puck's been, but where the puck will be. Well, this is where the puck's going to be. And as investors, we have a chance to skate there first before it gets there. This is how we as investors can make huge fortunes in commodities. Now, when we see something big like this, like a massive fundamental change in an industry, like this surge in demand for tech metals, the resulting shortage can trigger sudden and massive surges in price. Now, before I get into exactly how we can play this, like I said, there's two metals that I like. So there's one other metal that I like I want to tell you about real quick, and that is nickel. Now, nickel is needed in every single battery that EVs run on, and it just might end up being the biggest winner of this entire EV revolution. Nickel makes up more than 70% of the metal content of some of the most advanced EV batteries on the market today. And as you can see from the chart I have up on the screen, over the past 4 years, we've seen more demand than we have supply, which again, means the price should be going up. Now, this year in 2020, we've seen nickel go back into a surplus year, but that's going to be short-lived. We had a little bit of a surplus year because of the pandemic and manufacturing be shut down. It's not going to continue as the demand for EVs and the batteries they need are going to continue to grow and grow and grow. They're going to push us back into a deficit, and I think a much larger one than we've ever seen. Again, just like lithium, I just don't see how the supply is going to be able to keep up with the demand that we're about to see. All right, so I've set the stage. Does that sound good? You're probably saying, okay, great. I see the rise in demand, but how do we play this? Maybe you're saying, get on with it, Mark. You talk too much. I hear that in your comments. I know who you are. Well, just like we've been doing in the gold mining sector, I like to find the very best companies to get the gold out of the ground, and I like to find the very best companies to get the lithium and the nickel out of the ground, the very best mines that are pulling these metals from the ground. And I like to get in early while the valuations are still really low. Or for some, for a much easier and a much broader way to play this, again, similar to gold miners, we can gain exposure through this trend. Instead of trying to find the individual winners, we can buy a broad ETF that kind of encompasses all this one. So one for this sector specifically is one called the Global X Lithium and Battery Tech ETF. The symbol is LIT. Now, it's an ETF, and so it's super convenient. Just with one click, you can buy basically kind of the whole sector, if you will. You can buy a number of lithium miners and battery producers. Now, it's not going to give you the same potential for returns as if you bought the very best mining stocks, again, similar to gold. And it's not going to give you exposure to the nickel miners either. But as lithium demand grows and supply runs short, it's a great speculation right now. But as I always have to warn you, don't bet the farm on speculations like this, and never, never, never risk more than you can afford to lose. You need to make sure your portfolio is set up to allow you to position yourself to, invest into these more speculative opportunities, but without putting too much at risk in your total portfolio. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, you can download the free guide I put together. It's called the 4-Pillar Blueprint. You can download it for free. It's linked in the description of this video. But let me know in the comments what you think about investing in these EV boom metals right now. Is this something you're considering? Do you like lithium and nickel? Leave me a comment and let me know. Of course, as always, give me a thumbs up on this video if you like it. If you don't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Either way, I want to hear from you, so leave me a comment. I try to respond to every single one, at least as many as I can. And that's all I got for you today. To your success, I'm out.